Yo, what up guys? In today's video, I'm gonna be showing y'all some disturbing Reddit confessions. There's probably worse ones out there, but these are just some of the ones that I found that weren't taken down. I hope y'all enjoy the video, and let me know down below what y'all think. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the craziest one I've read. I'm an active pedophile. Before the morality police jump on me, I'll point out that this is the confession subreddit, and that I'm posting because I normally have to keep this a secret, and I felt like it'd be liberating to just say openly what I'm into and what I do. And if you want to be retarded and judgmental, you can just F off. I know that my preferences and actions aren't consistent with traditional morality, but of course, that's all relative to culture. And it's just been my bad luck to live in a time and place where my sexual preference are considered taboo. So I'm an active pedophile, which means that I regularly have intercourse with children. My preference is for children between the ages of 7 and 12. Professionally, I am a child psychologist. I have 2 PhDs, and I work part-time as an adjunct at a major research university. Obviously, it's part of my job to understand how kids think, and my work has put me in contact with hundreds of children over the years. I have had intercourse with a small percentage of them, those whom I can be reasonably confident won't tell anyone, and whom I believe may enjoy the experience. Of course, child sexuality is a complex issue. My desire to have intercourse with them is basically independent from my scientific and professional interest in them. And in general, I don't care whether my actions will harm the child when I choose to get sexual with him or her. I have 2 daughters, aged 9 and 16. I never touched the 16-year-old. Their mother, my wife, died from breast cancer 3 years ago. The older one goes to a boarding school in Michigan where she studies the flu. I have been having regular intercourse with the younger one since she was 6. I don't necessarily prefer boys or girls. Both are attractive to me. I have always been attracted to children since I myself was a child. I guess as I grew older, I never stopped finding people of that particular age range sexually desirable. I suppose I generally prefer consensual intercourse, although I also find 4 scenarios also arousing. Y'all can pause the video to read this paragraph. Man, this guy is disgusting. I suppose something that some readers may find interesting is that I have met several other pedophiles who have similar preferences to mine. I suppose that many of you would be surprised about several things I have learned in my interactions with other pedophiles. First, about how many secret pedophiles there are, how exceedingly common this sexual preference is. Second, how common intercourse with children is. Third, how often the child enjoys it. And fourth, how easy it is to get away with it in a society that basically treats pedophiles like witches. If any of you want to ask me details, note, I will not stupidly reveal any information, so do not bother trying to trick me into giving up my address. Then, feel free to PM me, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. To say the least, everyone in the comments was beyond disgusted, and a lot of them were alerting the authorities or sending this Reddit post to the FBI. People in the comments were calling him all types of names, and even another burner account would call himself an exclusive pedophile, went on to call him a child molester. And the fact that OP even asked not to be judged after admitting all of this is beyond wild. Now, this confession was a reply to a comment asking if you ever had a moment of evil genius. When I was 11 and my younger brother was 9, I passed to the dark side. We used to regularly prank each other and the rest of our family. Most of the time, it was harmless, like removing the light bulb from a closet and then jumping out to scare the person who came inside. We had a pretty good one where we would take all of the chocolate chip cookies out of their container and switch them with oatmeal raisins. Haha. There was one instance, though, that I crossed the line. I had just seen Home Alone, and I had loved the idea of having this really extensive and detailed plans for a trap. I spent a week or two trying to come up with my own crazy plans, most of which were impossible because they involved some sort of catapult. But I did come up with one that I thought was ingenious, and I wanted to use it on my little brother. So while my brother was outside playing, I decided to set my trap. It started with me pouring shampoo and some water in a bucket. Then, I took a whole bunch of glue and feathers and poured them all over the shower curtain in the bathroom. I removed the light bulb in the bathroom. Then, I took the bucket of shampoo water and dumped it on the floor. My plans was to have my brother come into the bathroom, slip across the floor, and then either fall onto or grab the shower curtain for support. He would then be stuck to the shower curtain and be stuck with a feather cape. It was really stupid and I was an idiot. Well, it worked. He came into the bathroom, slid across the floor, and hit into the shower curtain. Only, he didn't stop slipping. He slipped and hit the base of his neck on the edge of the bathtub. I don't remember much immediately after that. I think I blacked out. That was 15 years ago. My brother still can't walk. He's stuck in a wheelchair. He has almost no movement from the neck down. He can barely talk, and it is a struggle to get out one or two words. For me, the worst part is that he can still control his facial expressions pretty well. I apologize to him every day for years. I still do it fairly often now. He always has this look. He smiles and says, "It's okay." He smiles with his mouth, but not his eyes. I've seen his smile for real, but I can see the resentment in his eyes. I'm the worst person alive. I'm an idiot. My birthing video ended up on a fetish subreddit because of my husband. Throwaway. Although my husband will probably see this here anyway, maybe this can be the conversation starter. I don't know. I just need to get this out somewhere and have people validate that my feelings aren't crazy. I'm sorry if this is all over the place. I'm a mess. My female 33, husband male 36, is the most wonderful and caring person I've ever met in my life, I thought. Almost overbearing sweet. He's always concerned with how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how is my mental health. He's an excellent father to our 2 children as well. I had a difficult birth with my first child. My hospital experience was bad. I felt traumatized afterwards. When I got pregnant with my second, I knew that, bearing any issues, I wanted a home birth. My husband was all for it. He's a nurse, so I felt doubly safe with him, plus my midwife to support me. The midwife filmed, and we also had a professional photographer taking pictures. Everything went great. It was so emotional and beautiful. I'm trying not to give too many details away, since it's apparently available to anyone for their viewing pleasure right now. I have been pretty possessive of that birth tape. I never uploaded it anywhere. After I downloaded it onto my computer from my camera's SIM card, I uploaded it to a USB, deleted it off my computer, and kept it in a little hope chest to watch when I'm feeling sentimental. It's so beautiful and important to me, and I wasn't interested in sharing it. I have several friends who put their whole birth on YouTube, but I wasn't interested in doing that. My birth didn't need to be shared with the world. It didn't need to be a teaching moment. It didn't need to exist to make others feel better. After my traumatic first birth, it was mine, and I cherished it. My husband didn't feel the same way, and sometimes had light arguments with me about it. He was never pushy, but several times when I would watch it, he would comment, "This is such an excellent birth video. You are so happy and calm. I really think you should post this. Home births get such a bad rep, and this could put so many women at ease." I would tell him absolutely not. This is private. Stop pestering me about this. It's my body. He eventually dropped it and hasn't brought it up since. My husband and I have never been controlling. We don't have the passwords to each other's phones. I've never felt the need to check each other's phones or computers. I trust him implicitly. Well, I did anyway. I know he has Reddit. We both read it pretty often, but I don't know his profile or what he does on here. I don't know. I've just never thought about it. A few days ago, I was in one of my parenting subreddits and I came across a disturbing thread about birthing videos getting posted non-consensually in a birthing fetish subreddit. I thought to myself, that is the exact reason I didn't want to post my birthing videos. The commenter posted the link to the fetish sub, and I'll admit, curiosity got the better of me, and I went to look. I wanted to know if any of my friends' videos wound up there so that I could tell them. Well, their videos did wind up there, every single one. The sub had several vast G drives linked to birth videos, but then I saw it. My birth video. It looked like it had been a YouTube video at one point. I don't know, I don't understand how this works. I can't find it on YouTube anywhere, so I don't know. I'm so ashamed and horrified. There is a close-up of everything. Down there is a effing fetish site. My baby taking his first breaths. Me breastfeeding. It doesn't even cut off after the birth. It shows my baby getting weighed and just held. If this is a birth fetish sub, why does it feature so much of just my child? This seems like way more than just a birth fetish thing. I don't know how to report the video. I reported the post in the Reddit. Says it doesn't violate anything. I am bawling as I type this. Like, what the F? Only one person knows where that tape is. My husband. I don't even know how to approach this subject with him. Hey, did you violate my privacy and post our baby's birth online? Or did you submit it straight to a fetish site? Because that's where it is right now. I don't know what to do. I can't believe I even have to have this discussion. What the F? Even if he didn't submit that video straight to the fetish site, he uploaded it somewhere else where they found it. And now, his actions have led to this situation. He exposed me to perverts online. He exposed our newborn infant to perverts online. Our marriage will not survive this, and I am a wreck. I should have known he had his sick intentions when he was being so weird about wanting me to post this. Why? Why would he do this? I'm not even that angry about those sickos seeing me, but every time I think of my sweet little baby's face in there, I feel like I'm going to throw up. Surely this is illegal. Surely newborn babies can't be featured in content that people are sexualizing. Can they? I'm also just absolutely gutted by the fact that so many other women have had this special moment bastardized by that sub. How many of them are in my shoes? Or my friend's shoes? I'm horrified. Do I press charges against my husband? I can't believe this is how my family is going to end. What will I even tell people? What will I tell my kids? I don't even know what to do. Update. Just a quick update. I left and took the kids to my mom's house. I don't know how long we'll be there. I didn't tell my husband anything. I just wanted to get the kids the hell away from him. Even if he didn't share that video directly with those creeps, I don't want him around them. 3 days later, she would post an update. Update. It's a birth video in a fetish subreddit. I just need to vent, I guess. This isn't a happy update. As I mentioned in my last post, I went over to my mom's house. She was bewildered about why I was there. I couldn't fess up the reason why I was so upset. I'm still so embarrassed. I didn't want her to go looking for that damn video either. Thinking of my mom searching around a porn sub to find my birthing video made my skin crawl. I was hysterical. I still am. I couldn't really hide that. I just told her something bad had happened and we needed to stay for a while. I'm gonna have to tell her, but every time I think about doing it, I just start crying more. The situation is even more complicated now, so I'm just scared people will be mad at me for doing what I'm doing, even my own mom. My husband called and texted over and over for hours. We haven't spent a night apart in years. I gave him no warning. I texted him once and said we were visiting my mom and would be back later, but that I needed a break. I was worried he'd called the police, but he didn't. He continued to text sporadically, pleading with me to talk to him about what was wrong. I went back over to our house the next day, around the time I'd figured he'd be off work. I took one of my mom's old phones and used it to record a whole interaction. Turns out he'd called off of work. He was so distressed. He ran up to me and immediately started asking what was wrong, asking where the kids were, and etc. He was so understandably upset. Seeing him like that just made me start crying too. When I started crying, he started crying. He tried to hug me and I stepped away, which just made him more upset. It was such a mess. I was finally able to compose myself enough to ask him to watch a video on my phone. He was confused, more so when he realized it was my birthing video. A few minutes in, he interrupted to ask why I was showing him. I ended the video, and 100 other birth videos in the G-file folder appeared. He still looked confused. I exited the folder and pointed to the name of the sub I was in. He took my phone for a better look, and I just started bawling and bawling. After a few minutes, he started raging about how we needed to mass report the post and call the FBI and blah blah blah. He kept repeating, "We'll fix this, holy crap, this is so sick." I tried to get his attention by asking, "How did they get that video?" But he just kept pacing around and ranting. I just started repeating over and over, "How did they get it?" until I was screaming at the top of my lungs. He eventually stopped and just stared at me. Neither of us said anything for a long time. He started crying and told me that he started a daddy's blog a year after our first was born. He posted about being a dad and eventually about his experience with my second pregnancy. He had posted the video on a YouTube to link to his blog. He felt like there wasn't enough resources out there for dads regarding pregnancy. He didn't know I didn't want it posted until a week or two after the baby was here, and I was so vehement about not posting it and getting it tucked securely away on a USB. It was up for about 10 months before he finally took it down. He was waiting to see if I changed my mind and was so reluctant to remove it because he'd received so many messages from thankful dads about how educational and helpful his blog and vlogging was. I had zero knowledge about this blog. I didn't even know people blogged anymore. We had both expressed how many times we didn't want to create a massive digital footprint for our children because of situations just like this. So this is such a freaking weird surprise. There's hundreds of pictures of our family on this thing. Anyway, we got into a huge argument about how this was a breach of trust and privacy. He maintained that he thought my reaction about not wanting the video posted was over the top, and how I never told him I didn't want to share it. How he didn't even think of it as a big deal because he deals with that kind of thing every day, so it was just not a big deal to him, and blah blah blah. His excuses were stupid, and I don't care. My birth wound up on a fetish subreddit because of him, and we're getting a divorce. When I told him it was over, we had another big screaming match. He went through several different emotions: crying, wailing, begging, and finally anger. I hadn't said anything about custody arrangements or my plans besides divorce, but he started threatening full custody and how he was going to put up a huge fight, how it was going to just be he said and she said, how he has a better job, and etc. Whatever. I didn't tell him I recorded anything legal in our state. I eventually just walked off. So yeah, that's where I'm at today. I need to consult with a lawyer about what comes next. I am moving as quickly as I possibly can. Sitting down to write this update was probably a stupid move, but I received so many heartfelt messages from people concerned for me that it felt necessary. I honestly just needed to vent and have people tell me I'm not crazy or awful for doing what I'm doing. I told a few friends and they all just seem weird. They're concerned about the videos I found in the fetish group, but nobody has reassured me that I'm making the right moves in regard to the situation. I'm in an incredibly bad place right now. I'm worried I'm making the wrong decision. Do I let him see the kids? I don't know what to tell my family. I don't know if I need to contact the police. I don't know if I want to. The most stupid part of me wishes I could call my best friend and talk to him about it. But, yeah, I'm divorcing him. What a stupid feeling to miss him so badly and knowing that I'll never be with him again. I just keep thinking that I'm doing something stupid, and I feel so many people will see it that way. On top of everything, my birthing video is just in a fetish sub. Every time I think about that, I get choked up. I've reported it a million times in just a few days since I posted. I've made alts to try and report. I've had friends report. My other friends with their birthing videos also reported non-consensual in there, have tried reporting. It doesn't matter. I sent the link to the FBI. It doesn't even really matter anyways. They're G drives. If the post gets removed, if the whole sub was removed, my video is still in possession of some sicko using it for fat material. My baby sweet little face in there. I'm sick. I'm defeated. They have a post up in the sub about how their previous group was removed because of pedophile content. No crap. No effing crap. Your fetish inherently involves children. They ask that Karens please leave them alone now. They acknowledge that pedophiles lurk in their sub, yet continue to steal content with children in it for sexual purposes. I do not understand how something like this is legal. I do not know how many other dark places on the internet my video has ended up on. The most special moment of my life is now just this smear of crap, all because I decided to try and capture it for memory's sake. Something that was supposed to bring me unending joy now leaves me weeping. I keep looking at my sweet toddler and just break down. He didn't deserve this. I wish I can go back, and I've never recorded that video. I took my USB and smashed it into a million pieces just to feel like I did something. I am tired. There's not going to be another update for a while. I'm in a very dark place. Man, that was crazy. Everybody in the comments was telling her to be strong and that she did the right thing. I couldn't find anything after that, and I hope she's doing well. And of course, what would confessions be if somebody didn't admit to murder? I am responsible for the deaths of several people. Around 4 years ago, I was a vendor on the dark net. It was a relatively short-lived thing. I was just doing it because I was too lazy to get a job, and at the time, I didn't want to settle for the 9-to-5 thing. I wanted to start my own business and use the drug money as a startup. I had been using for years. Along with that, I met lots of people into the dealing scene and eventually started dealing myself. I have a lot of anxiety though, so I hated meeting up with people in parking lots, and I definitely didn't want anyone to know where I lived. That's when I read about the Silk Road and Ross Ulbricht being caught. Got obsessed with the idea of it. Got obsessed with learning OPSEC, all with the goal of eventually using my connections to start up my store. Well, after a couple of months, I did. I started my store with 3 drugs: ketamine, meth, and some outdoor weed my buddy was getting for super cheap. All was going good for a few months. I had a couple thousands get stolen in the exit scan, but I had about 25,000 saved at that point, so it didn't ruin my life like a few vendors I knew would have. Eventually, I met a local connect that came into the town only once a week, but had anything. I wanted mescaline, LSD, mushrooms, PCP, even fentanyl. At the time, people weren't really cutting heroin with fentanyl. I mean, I'm sure people did plenty, but it was not nearly as a commonplace now. People just did fentanyl and still do. I put all my addresses into an Excel spreadsheet along with their name, zip code, order, along with the amount. At the time, I was selling some super white powdered mescaline. The fentanyl was also a white powder. Very similar consistency. Long story short, my Excel messed up, or I messed up, and about 7 people's mescaline orders were filled in as fentanyl orders. They all went out. I didn't notice and kept doing my thing for a few days. After about 5 days, someone contacted me and told me their friend died from my mescaline. I immediately called BS and went to check my order log and scale up how much I had of mescaline left. Well, I had about 11 grams more than I should have. I still don't know how the hell it could have happened. I wasn't a user, but I was definitely high off dabs. I went to check my order log on the market to see if anyone had finalized on their purchase, and a couple of them were, but none of them from a specific day, including the person that messaged me. No one that had purchased mescaline that day had finalized their order. The market I was on also had a feature to see the user's last activity, and none of them had logged in at least 3 days, most 2 days. I immediately deactivated my vendor account. I didn't even need confirmation. I knew what had happened. I knew I just killed several people. I sold the rest of my drugs, converted my Bitcoin to cash, and moved the hell away. I didn't speak to anyone for weeks. I found a job in a restaurant, living in a city I always wanted to. I haven't touched drugs since that day. I haven't had anything to do with that life since then. I still think about them, every night. I saved their names and Googled them a few days later. I was able to find info on 4 customers that definitely died. One customer shared it with a friend. They both died. I don't know why I'm even posting this, mainly because I have no one to tell. And even if I did, I don't think I could. I spend my days sober, clocking into work, clocking out of work, coming home, playing video games. I'm a complete recluse. People I used to know have distanced themselves immensely, and I know it's because I'm a shell of my former self. I can't help it. Could I even tell a therapist about this? I don't feel like I deserve to be alive. Am I really living anyway? I don't even know anymore. Maybe this will help me feel better.